right now, so we're recording, so we can record her on. So yeah, so we're going to look at scheduling doors and windows. So we're going to take this building here and just see what we can do with our window schedules, or basically, first of all, how we can set them up. And a lot of the principles that we'll do here sort of extend to scheduling sort of anything really in ArchiCAD. So the basic strategy is the same. So you can keep that in mind for other things that you might want to extract out of ArchiCAD. So first place to go is to our schedule area, and we're just going to create a schedule of some elements. So a new schedule. I'll give it a name. So in this case, we'll go window schedule. So WS01. Window schedule. Just click OK. Now that should bring up a box of stuff that we want to sort out. So in here, this top part of the screen, we outline the elements that we want to include in our schedule, and down here we want to outline the information that we want to extract from those elements into our schedule. So first of all, it's basically defaults to an element type of all types, so it's going to create a schedule of everything. So we want to say just now minimize this to Windows. We could also go further and we could do a window schedule by floor if we had a big building, so we could then go add criteria, choose the home story, say, and then choose which floor they're on. But for now, we're just going to do a total window schedule. So then we come down here and we then add the fields that we want to prepare from our schedule. So out of our windows, what do we want? Maybe we want to find basically its nominal width and height. Good starter. We can give a view from the outside or the inside even, so whichever side we want to do that. We can include, say, there's another view of the plan. Where's that going? It's in the preset schedule, so I'll find that afterwards, and we'll see that one as well. We could also put in any fire ratings, say if they've got fire rated windows, and then we can go up to the general here and grab stuff like the ID. So maybe this is enough to start. So then if we go OK, and then click down here on our window schedule, it spits us out this schedule, and unfortunately, because of the size of the windows themselves, the lines aren't big enough. So we can come into here and tell them to make our rows bigger. So probably want to make these about smaller maybe. Here we go, right. So you work out a suitable size that will show all those, and then you can come in here and adjust your columns just like in Excel. So just take columns to fit all our windows, and then even in these ones here you can come in and adjust just manually by getting these guide points and moving them around. You can also customize the title, so if you want to change that for whatever reason, same as this information. So basically now we've got every single window, and because we haven't gone through really and numbered them properly, it's got all the IDs are repeating and the sizes are all the same. So we can now also do this. We can merge uniform items. So then our window schedule will just show us the types of windows. And we can go back into our settings here and also add quantity. So if we now add quantity, it will tell us that there's 15 of these windows, 1 of that one, 2 of those, and 9 of those. We can also go in and start including properties and stuff that we've loaded up and created for ourselves. So this is where the product information date, no, anybody here. Like just say we could include the manufacturer. Since these are here, we'll grab some of these. What else could we get? So now we've got some extra columns. At the moment, a lot of this is undefined. So this is where we can now go in, and what we can do is export this data to a spreadsheet, and then we can actually go and manipulate a lot of this data in a spreadsheet. So if I just unmerge all those uniform items, but before we do that, we can actually go through and do a bit of tidying up. So we can come to this window here and now go click up here, and we can find it on the floor plan, so it'll take us directly to that window. Now I want to change its ID, so let's call that one window 02, and then click back here. And so find that one there, give that a, change its number. And that'll be coming up down here. So then we can start getting a separate identity to each of these windows, not that they'll be in any particular order at the moment. So if we now go back to our schedule, we've got a few windows down here which we can see the number. So if we go up here to interoperability and classifications and properties, we can export these property values from the schedule to Excel, and I'll just put that on my desktop. Window schedule properties, save. And if we open that up in Excel, comes. Now we can go in here and we could start putting some of this data in the background that takes time in ArchiCAD. We could quickly start plonking this in Excel. So, I mean, we could say, I mean, it's easy here because, say, all these windows are probably going to be all the same. So maybe we could say that they are, who's a Finnish manufacturer? Pertti.
Sorry.
Who's a Finnish window manufacturer name?
Finnish, it went to bankrupt, but TV, Tamaido, India, with the India.
TV.
True, W-I, I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so say that we're going to specify the windows as TV from Finland, and you can do this with any information about the window. So it could be like color, fixings, hardware, locks, anything you imagine that you can specify to a door or a window. We can create these columns and this stuff for. Whether it's laminated or tempered, so we could put in here, and this is just a true and a false thing, so say that one's laminated and that one's tempered. And we could just go through here and now we've gone and specified where those windows, who's making them and what country they've come from, because we need to specify that in this project, say. And we've put in a couple of laminated and tempered windows. Now we save that, and we can come back to ArchiCAD. Now we have File, Interoperability, import property values into elements, and we go there. So it's telling us that this table is, this data is okay to import. So now we can go import. And one day it will be,
So you put them in the you put them in Excel and then you import them.
Yeah. So it's where we've got like these hospitals with lots of projects. As long as you know where the doors are and all the windows, you can do a lot of this quickly and easily in Excel rather than opening every window and going and changing the data and then closing it and going to the next one. So I've just done all, whatever, 20 odd windows there at the touch of a few buttons and saved a few times, and now I can go and have a beer while everyone else is doing their work. But yeah, so that's really handy for specifying, like when we get through the hospitals with these different types of locks, and whether it's a electronic lock or whether it's a touch key or a foot operated, or we can put all that information in here, spit it out and run it through a schedule. What else can we do with the schedule? You can also, like I showed you before, go and find a window in the plan, but we can also do the same in 3D. So if we just click on that 3D box here, it will take us to that window in the model. And we can also do some of those things that we discussed in the spreadsheet. So maybe you've got a handful of changes to make. You can make them in here as well. So maybe we're going to change these to maybe have one. I don't know if we make windows, but and just go. Maybe it's just going to tell a lie out of me. No? That's weird. It's not a teamwork project. Okay, maybe my enter wasn't working, so we can just go there. The only thing I did differently is I pressed enter and it didn't accept my change, but by just moving out of the cell it accepted the change. So you can also manipulate that sort of data in here as well from our schedule. So if we now go back to this window here and open it up, we can see that that stuff is from down in here. So it's put it all in the right place in the schedule.
So created in Excel also.
Yep, that was all done in Excel. Yeah. So all of these other things here can be changed as well. Any of these properties. So if you do have, the need, someone's asked you to come and put data on a door or window or any object for that instant, for that sake, and you've got all these properties that are down here that you're working with, all of these can be changed through this Excel system. The only things you can't change are stuff that's specified up in these areas. So standard basic parameters you can't change, but any properties to do with the property manager and classification you can change in Excel.
One question.
Yep.
Can you choose those windows or doors by that property you put in Excel?
Yep. So just say now I want to do my schedule and I only want windows that were made by Abloy. So I can then go add criteria, properties, what was in there, manufacturer.
All Abloy doors. Okay, that's good. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can narrow it down as small as you want. You can also then get really clever and start doing like nested type operations, so, and excluding stuff. So maybe you have used a window. What could you use it for? Maybe you've got a range of windows that were sort of maybe part of a joinery unit or something like that. So you've made up a joinery unit. You've put some windows in it for some reason, and you don't want those in. So you could go, if you're searching for all window types, all windows, and then you could say add criteria. Maybe that window's on a layer, so then you could exclude the layer, the furniture layer that wall is, that window is in. So say interior furniture. So then it would exclude anything that's in that particular layer. Or maybe you have given some windows a code. It's like quite often if you were doing, say, an alteration and you've got existing windows and new windows, you could give the existing windows like a 00 code or an existing code or something. So then you could then say exclude, so the, maybe in the ID that would be, what's it called? So then you could say does not contain, or exclude or existing or whatever it is you've set it up. So you can do all sorts of parameters to make your scheduling and stuff smarter. So it's one of those things too. It's quite good. You could just get in sometimes and just experiment with it while you're trying to do something to see what you can do if you need to extract information, especially where you've got lots of windows and doors in a project. So is there anything else you think you need to know?
A couple of questions.
Yeah.
So Excel, we're just using that as a method to quickly edit, add, redact information, whatever the situation would be. That's not as an export tool, so we shouldn't find that schedules are made or finalized in Excel. Everything's still controlled within
Everything's still controlled in ArchiCAD. It's just a way of manipulating lots of data quickly, because you know how you've got like repeating data. You can in Excel it just automatically says should it be this if you type the first letter. So that allows you to go through quickly, put all that data in, and then bang it back into the ArchiCAD. The only things to remember is don't go adding extra columns. or deleting columns, or adding extra lines or deleting lines. So just leave the table as it is, and then it will.
So you're only changing the values in Excel. Everything else to do with formatting, layout, has to be done in ArchiCAD. Otherwise, it's game over.
Yeah, like if you went in and you thought, oh, actually, I want to add a column for, I don't know, color of the window. Don't add it into Excel and then expect it to come into ArchiCAD, because it will create a mismatch and make it difficult to import if you can import it all. So just bring that table, change the data, and bring it back in.
There's one thing you could put values like demands, what the client demands, and they are there.
Yeah.
Then this door, its color should be this and this by the client.
Well, I actually did in Ratamo. I did similar to what you're doing there with those room schedules. Yeah. I created all those columns as properties in a zone, and then exported that to Excel, and then copied all of that data into the relevant zones. So I knew what the room was, the description, the size, the whatever. And then when I went back into ArchiCAD,
that schedule can be added to any of.
Yeah, not just doors or windows. No, anything that can have that properties, manipulate data. Yeah.
Are you have a lesson?
Yeah.
Give them a lesson.
So it's really handy for that sort of stuff. Yes, Steve.
Another question.
Where is the other mouse?
When you're dealing with the schedule in ArchiCAD.
Yeah.
Is that yours?
No, it's yours.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, wrong one.
What about is there like graphic standards that need to be applied to that? For example, is there logo or project information? Because usually a drawing schedule, drawing schedule or window schedule or door schedule is actually a drawing or official document. So does it have a cover sheet?
Oh, okay. So now, right. Okay. So now this, where we would then extend one more thing, is to then export this schedule into a drawing. So this is really just our schedule. This is just our schedule to see what windows we've got quickly and work around there. So you could then take this window schedule and try and put it into a drawing. So we then take this here and we'll create a we'll put them just on A4. Create. So right, I've got this A4 layer here. It's just a generic one at the moment, but we've got it set up in our files somewhere that this is all has a special window schedule title block. So then you can take that schedule and drop it into a drawing here. Yes, it's horrible. So then we can go in and we work out how big our page is. 2. Where have you gone? I'll go back a minute. The mouse pad there somewhere.
Just use some paper.
Right, so what I've done now is I've increased the size of the lines deeper, 250, and then I will get rid of this abloy thing. Oh, cheers. Window schedule. Right, still too deep. And then we can go across back here. What I was trying to do is get this so that it will repeat and create some more sheets. So here, come in here and fit frame to drawing, and then split drawing among multiple layouts. So what it does then is that it's going to create a whole lot of 27 different sheets for the window schedule. We'll get to window number changes. Oh, here we go. We can see some differences coming up through there. Just get rid of. Where are you on there? Title. So we could set this up in a way that we would hide some of this information for this type of setup. Or we would actually turn the sheet round to be A4 horizontal, which we haven't got. So if we just create another layout here for now, we'll do it. Oh, no, that's not what we'll do. We'll just change this to A3 landscape.
So that'll scale the box, right?
Yeah.
That'll scale the information in the box.
Yep. So then we can set this up and either one. Do that off for a second. So basically you can get it set up on your page how you want it to sit, and then go back in Control T to your settings, fit frame to drawing and split among the drawings, okay? And then it carries on. So then we can create our window schedule with whatever information that we want to show. And I think it's easier. We played around with Henry once, and we got I think we used the other records by columns, and we adjusted how the data showed. Bring it all back to 25. Yeah, so then we allowed it a big,
Sure, is that?
yeah, there, and then we made the columns wider, so then we could just put this onto an A4 portrait page and our schedules away. So it's one of those things, so just play around with it, see how you get on, ask some questions, and then it sort of once you do it a few times, you get the hang of it.
And is that image to scale or is it just?
That image, that's a good question.
For example,
It will be to scale.
And the scale is in the view properties. Right?
Oh, 1 to 100.
Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like that.
so we can come and actually enable that in there. So whether it's 1 to 100 or whether it's to fit the, yes, okay, that one, change them all to fit the box. So you can be fixed and you can set the alignment, and then once also you can then get in there and start adding 2D information and data. So if you want to,
dimensions, for example, or
Yep.
whatever.
Something like that.
Well, you can generate that automatically. You have to manually
no, you just have to do these.
do those.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Word safety gloves, so we better no go. Now when we go back to our schedule, it's over here. So that information then goes into the schedule. Anything else you might need
Is
to know?
that view only by double clicking that?
Double
And
click.
it's not stored anywhere else.
No, it's stored in here. You can either click on the annotate or double click.
Okay.
That's, I mean, this one thing everybody should be very careful. The view of the opening side, or
Yeah.
which one do you choose and do you really mean it? Because otherwise somebody else can understand it otherwise.
Yeah. Well, I've always been taught you drew from the opening side, but
Windows can sometimes open inside or outside also.
oh, that's a good point too. Wow, yeah, we sort of, where I come from, they open one way generally. So maybe I always sort of view it as the exterior side of the window is where you do your elevation from.
Yeah, maybe it is better to use like something like from the exterior or interior.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if they are,
This is why it's useful to have a plan as well. You can have a plan what is inside and outside.
Yeah.
because sometimes when you have facets, you can compare that to information with the schedule, and they should be the same.
Yeah, so they don't actually really give you a optional actually exterior or interior.
Yeah,
But I think the opening side of an ArchiCAD window tends to be the one where you align the sun when you place the object.
yeah, it's that when
You've never noticed the sun?
Yes.
Yeah, so that tends to dictate the.
What's inside and outside.
Yeah.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's taken as the opening side. So we put the sun as like what it calls the opening side, and then the reveal side.
But if you understand the convention in Finland, you have an inward opening window. You don't draw a window elevation from the inside. You draw it from
The outside, yeah. That's what I would do too.
Yeah, I usually do it outside. Some old
Just checking
Yeah.
but that one must be checked and it should be said somewhere how they are drawn. Whatever you draw, you should explain what you mean.
It probably should be in the title block on the drawing pages at all views
Sure.
on the exterior side.
Here's basic
Yep.
information of this. You never know.
Righto. So, any other questions?
Say, for example, it references back to drawing elevation. I guess that's information you can also put back in like a drawing number or whatever. That's when you find that window.
No.
Is there another criteria you can add to that?
Let's just have something.
No.
ID or
Yeah, you've got the ID.
what you use that ID for. You can use the type or the number of your
And
unique number. What do you call that?
the unique ID.
Unique ID.
Yeah.
You should have that parameter fixed in this office.
I did see. Hold on. Where are we? Windows. You could sort of tell it what zone number that window is coming from.
Yeah, that is clever. Yes,
In that case, if there's no zones.
but you have to have two parameters from which. Oh yeah.
No, it's an external.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah.
It's a. So if it's a door.
Yeah, so a door you tend to have two zone numbers, so one from where it's coming and one from where it's going. But then you have to make sure that the zones touch all the corners of the walls as well. If your zones are out fractionally, that wall won't register as being part of that zone.
Yeah, and if you
That must be fun.
yeah, and if you change the wall thickness somehow, then all this collapses.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way, just on that, there's no way of setting zones where like a, what would you say, associative or, you know, so you can change.
I know there is, and that can be another lesson, but
Yeah, can't wait to.
yeah, I can quickly show you.
Yeah,
No, that's all right, save it for another time.
but then you have to draw everything, it doesn't leak anything.
So yeah, so basically if I took that zone and clicked on there, you've changed the definition method of the selected zone. You want to update that now. Update that now. And what it's just done is now it's found the boundary walls of that zone and associated them all with that zone.
Right.
So in theory, if I go back to that schedule, that's zone number 106. But it hasn't picked up those walls. It's
I get the principle.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering like how these things should be set up as standards, so you know you don't move a wall and everything just falls to pieces.
yeah. But the problem is though that like where you've got columns, you have to take the walls to each other. You can't just stop a wall at the edge of a column. At the moment, it'll only recognise where a wall meets every corner. So, and it can, and if you don't. If for some reason you've got a fraction of a gap between a wall and another wall, and you put that associative zone in it, will sort of like expand up through space till it finds something that bounds itself, and it can cause all sorts of problems, especially late in a project.
So don't business.
Well, if you know that you've modelled up your walls and everything nicely and cleanly, it's fine. But we tend to work here by putting the zones first and then the walls, which then causes all sorts of problems. If you're putting the walls first and then your zones, you could then automatically tell them to fill that space. And then whenever you move the wall...
But you have to then be precise. If you adapt a wall or anything, it has to be spot on.
Yeah.
Otherwise it all goes.
Yep. It's a bit of a pain, but yeah.
And if you have different stages, something's existing, something new, then it doesn't really like terminate this one.
But you can add, I think you can add lines to show the border of the, and you just there's a mark that the line is a member of the border.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some border, but
Yeah, but anyway, that's Windows for today, or Windows schedules and door schedules, or schedules in general. So, yeah, hope that was useful and you got something out of it.
it was interesting, this Excel.
No worries.
There's no life without Excel.